Before we get this video started, I'd like to give a special thank you to the guys down at Toyota of Corvallis for allowing me to come down and review the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone Edition. If you're interested in the Hakone Edition 86 or any of the other dependable Toyota models, be sure to hit them up and they'll be happy to get you into your next vehicle. What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone Edition. Welcome to the 2020 Toyota 86. The 86 was introduced back for the 2017 model year as a mid-cycle refresh to the Scion FRS, and that's basically what happened when Scion got discontinued as a brand. They wanted to continue this car, so that's why it became a Toyota 86, because it already was a GT86 and other variants of that name all across the world, so they brought the 86 name to us, just kind of reminisce off this car from the AE86 of the 80s. So this is the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone Edition, and the Hakone is named after a very famous twisty turnpike in Tokyo, so it makes sense for the front engine rear-wheel drive light sports car to be named after that. It's not really mechanically different, so all it comes in is this pretty similar to British Racing Green, but it's called Hakone Green, and it has some bronze wheels, where otherwise these would be kind of a machine-faced diamond cut style wheel, which honestly I think with this color combination it looks pretty good, and also has like a caramel colored leather interior, which looks excellent. And we'll kind of look around, we'll take a look more when we do the walk around of the vehicle. All Toyota 86, this Toyota 86 and all Toyota 86s come standard with the FA20, making 200 horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. It makes 200 horsepower because this is the automatic version of this car, and it is pretty light at about 2,800 pounds. And because it has automatic transmission, it gets a little bit better gas mileage than the manual, so it gets about 24 in the city and 33 out on the highway. Again, it's not too bad for a light sports car like this. So since this is a special edition of the 86, this one's a little bit more expensive. So typically 86 start at about $27,000, but since this is a special edition, this one is about $31,000 because it also has an automatic transmission. So kind of this costs just about the same as a Subaru BRZ Limited, which is pretty interesting. But me personally, I like this color combination, where I would rather buy this one over a BRZ Limited if I was buying a new one of these. So let's go ahead and take a look around the 86 before we take it out on the road. Welcome to the walk around of the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone Edition. So let's go ahead and take a look around and see what this is like. So let's go ahead and start up here in the front. So this is my first time doing a review on a Toyota 86, and it's exactly the same as the BRZ, and I actually like the 86 a little bit more because of the Toyota badges and all of the kind of like Easter eggs that are hidden around the car. I think it looks pretty good. And let's take a look at this Hakone green paint. Oh my gosh, I love a green car, especially a green sports car. I think green is one of those colors that doesn't work on every car, but if it's on a really cool sports car, it works really well in my book. And then let's take a look. So this also has the kind of the bronze painted rims. Those look pretty awesome too. Like, it's really cool that they're making this kind of color combo together. I think it looks pretty awesome. You know, the Toyota 86 is styled really well. I think it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesomely styled car. Just kind of like some of the small details where it has the 86 badge right here on the side. And then if we come around the back, it does not have any 86 badge on the back, so I think that's pretty awesome. So you don't even have to go and get this car debadged after the fact. So, of course, since it's a 86, it does have the dual exhaust there. I've seen people put aftermarket exhaust and go to a single exit. Honestly, I think that's fine, but honestly, like, I love the dual exhaust look. So coming on to the other side, it's basically the same as the other side. Like, it's honestly, this is like the same car as it's been for the last couple years, but only mainly difference is the paint, and this paint is awesome. All right, let's take a look at the interior of the 2020 Hakone Edition. So Here in the interior of the Hakone edition, it's basically the same as all 86s, except it has brown leather instead of black leather with the Alcantara middle. I think that looks pretty awesome. I think that, you know, they should make this interior color combination optional on other 86s because it is fantastic. Like, oh, I just love interiors like this. I think that's pretty cool. And then you got the same kind of brown stitching all across the interior, so all there, then on the steering wheel too, and then across, and then you got a, let's go around to the other side, and then on this side you got a 86 badge. Let's come on, coming closer. That's kind of the same color as the interior. I think that's pretty awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take it out on a drive to see how it is. All right, welcome to the driving portion of the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone edition. So, as you can see, because there's no sunroof and this car is quite dark and it's sunny outside, you probably can barely see me, but you can hear my voice at least. So, let's get out the road and see how this thing drives. One thing about the Toyota 86 and the BRZ is these things are incredibly fun to drive, but they are quite small. So, hop on the road, go ahead and go over sport mode. They sound pretty good, actually. Especially with it warmed up. All right, first thing to do is hop on the road, mash the throttle. All right, let's go ahead and roll this window up now. So, welcome to the driving portion of the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone edition. You know, this is not going to be a very long one because I have reviewed a 2019 Subaru BRZ automatic, which is ultimately the same thing as this car. So I'm just going to go over the quick points. So, first of all, I think the Toyota 86 sounds really good. Like, it sounds less boxery, and then when you throw some headers on it and an exhaust, it sounds pretty dang good. But from the factory, it still sounds pretty good. Like, the exhaust isn't that loud, but also isn't that quiet. It's like a good in between. The steering response is really good. When you go around corners in this thing, the steering, you have an idea. You have a little bit of an idea what the front wheels are doing, and because this car has some little economy tires on it, it's pretty playful in the rear end. So, you know, what else is there? Like, it rides pretty good for a sports car, and I understand, like, most people who buy these cars, they put a different suspension setup on it, which is fine. But the stock suspension is very good too. I love the steering wheel design. Like, it's nice and small, and everything's just right there, kind of right there in your hands. Like, you got your volume controls and your radio controls on this side, and then you got your little menu on that side, which is pretty cool. I talked about all this stuff when I reviewed the BRZ, so I'm going to go ahead and link the BRZ video up top so you guys can watch that if you want to get a full review of what I thought about this car, because it's exactly the same as the Subaru BRZ. It's just Toyota's version. So, you know, what can improve on this car? So, you know, this car has 200 horsepower, and honestly, that's not a lot of horsepower for a car like this. Like, I feel like if this car had like 220, 250 horsepower, that would be great, because this car doesn't necessarily need to be turbocharged or anything like that, even though that would be pretty cool. But it doesn't really need to be turbocharged. It just needs to get some more power and some low down torque. So that's kind of all I feel like this car needs to be an excellent car. With, you know, with the Toyota Supra out now, and if they decide to bring a 4-cylinder version of that Supra out, I wonder where they'll price it, because I mean, if the regular Supra is kind of in the 40s and /50s, if they bring out a 4-cylinder model, that'll put that car into probably the 30s and low 40s, which, you know, still has a place for this car. But if they kind of cut some things out of the Supra, they probably can make it around that $30,000 price point, which, you know, it's one thing that you kind of got to think about when this car is replaced. I know there's a new one planned, and it's going to come with a new updated powertrain and everything, get with more power and more everything. But honestly, like with the Supra out, and if they can get the cost of the Supra down a little bit more, I don't know, like, kind of the future of this car, even though this is a very fun car to drive. I haven't driven a Supra yet. I would like to, but have not yet. But, like, you know, I don't see where I don't see where there's going to be a future for this car if the Supra can get cheaper. But while you're at it, this car, like, just talk about specifically about this car, like, this car has been out for a couple years now, so if you want to get one, you can get them for pretty damn cheap now, which is pretty cool. And I think that, you know, at $15,000 or $10,000 to $15,000, this car is a bargain. You just got to make sure you get the one that's either had like a 2013 model that has engine replaced, or just prepared to do a rebuild on it when you get it. But the 2020 Toyota 86 Hakone Edition is a pretty awesome little car. Like, it's still a fun car to drive, but it just adds a little bit of flair in terms of adding these pretty cool leather seats and the green exterior paint and the bronze wheels. So, like, you know, honestly, it's a very cool special edition, and I think that, like, if you're looking for one of these models, I think that you should consider, like, if you want to get like one of these, I'll consider getting one of these special editions, especially if you like green cars, just because, you know, you can't really get green on many sports cars. You can get it on, like, the kind of the more expensive stuff, but not kind of on the $30,000 stuff. So I think that is a pretty cool thing that this car offers. But I think the Toyota 86 is a good car. It's actually, you know, despite me being a big dude, like, I'm actually decently comfortable in this car, and I'm decently comfortable in this car, and I love the way it drove. I love the way it drives, and, you know, I talked about that when I reviewed it the first time, and I think that, you know, this car is exactly the same as the one I drove before. It's just kind of a special edition, and I still really like it, and I like it even more because of this color combination. So, you know, if you're looking to get a Toyota 86 or any other cars that are like this, like I'm talking about the Supra BRZ or the Scion FRS, you definitely should do it. Like, it's a fun car to drive. Like, if you want something like a Miata but need a hardtop, this is like a perfect version of the car. So, you know, if you've liked this video, hit me with the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, keep riding me. Thanks for watching.